All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah, even if you are not religious. I still pray you and your family are super blessed as Bitcoin is getting a bit of a correction. Man, we got to talk about this as we're coming to the white box that must hold. As usual, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. We got to shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out to Benja. Good morning, Jay and folks. Brand new day. Praise God. Shout out to Lion Rune. What is going on? Shout out to Hershey. Shout out to Maurice. Shout out to Captain Happy. It says also go up, but not by advertising it. Shout out to OG Blockchain. Blessings in Yeshua's name. Shout out to Usama Yunaz. Shout out to Monty. Shout out to Snickers Toasted and Tim Lattis. Major shout out to Chemo and Crypto. Good morning, good morning. Shout out to Arthur. Shout out to Felix H. Shout out to Gary C. and Jinx. Shout out to Clay the Great and Mama. Major shout out to Felipe Collin. And a major shout out to David Brumblebow, Quicker, Brandon Cox, JG, and Preparing for War. Every day is Chest and Arms Day at the gym, curling in the squat rack. Isn't that what squat racks are for? Also got to give a major shout out to BLOFIN, guys. Currently 20% cash back, everything you deposit. Also got to give a major shout to ANTARCTIC Exchange, lowest fees in the game. Make sure to check it out. Also got to give a major shout to the Casper crew. We are long from the bottom, short from the top, and we are back in the middle of this range here, awaiting for the next move for Bitcoin. If you want to join the community, you can go to jasonstratham.com. Join the best trading community in the world. Now here we are, guys, as Bitcoin has gotten a bounce from basically right around $100,000, and things were looking pretty bullish, but now we're starting to get a pullback, and we're coming to a very, very key zone of support, which is this. We take the white box, we spread it back, we can see it was resistance, flipped to support, back to resistance, and so this is the breakout and the retest. This white box must hold, and if we're not going to hold the white box, we could see a move down to make a lower low. I don't want that to happen, but I'm just being honest. If we're not going to maintain the uptrend of making higher highs and higher lows here, well, we could see a lower low. Why? Because we have ourselves a high, we have ourselves a low, we have ourselves a lower high. Now what comes next? What comes next? Say it ain't so! Jason, please say it ain't so! Okay, it's not so! We're going to be diving into the charts today. We're going to be looking at ETH. We're going to be looking at everything, determining what is going to happen. Now, this is coming on the heels of some bullish news that we had yesterday. CPI data coming in cold, baby. Let's check it out on forexfactory.com. CPI came in lower than expected. Inflation is down, baby. And that was bullish for a little bit yesterday. A little bit of a pump followed by a big dump. So the question is, when pump, baby? When pump? Because we cannot ignore the bullishness of the high time frames. But maybe it'll take a little bit longer than expected. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Error Epic. Trump, Elon, make out next. Trump and Elon, make out next. Could be. Also, guys, shout out to Keep Grinding, who says, thank you, Jay, for dropping the free course. Guys, make sure to go check out the free course, all right? On my YouTube channel, under playlists, we got ourselves a free course here. All right? Preparing for your trading journey. All this stuff. 18 sessions for free. All right, go check it out on my YouTube channel. All right, here we go, baby. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a drop. Now, I do just want to talk about We'll start on Bitcoin, but before we get to Bitcoin, I do want to talk about ETH, because I think ETH is a very important chart to be watching right now. Pentagon Pizza Index is ripping. Is that true? Is that true? Inflation down, but the dollar purchase power is down. Yeah, everything's a joke, Stanley Cook. We understand inflation's a joke. The CPI is a joke. Everything's a joke. All right. As long as we're on a deficit spending Keynesian system where we print our own currency into oblivion, everything's a joke. It's just a simple, it's literally a joke. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but you know, people take it seriously and think that for some reason there's any hope of like helping the system, right? Because people think inflation is just normal, right? Back in my day, said my dad, I used to go down to the candy store with a quarter, get my parents 2 cups of coffee, a butter rolls, and a pack of cigarettes, and still had enough left for some candy. All right. And nowadays, you go in with a quarter, and I don't know, do they even make quarters anymore? Right? That's not normal. That's not normal. That's called the degradation of the purchasing power of the currency, which is done by design, which we can see if we go to the gold chart and look at it from 1971, when we went off the gold standard. You know, you pop on over to the gold chart here, and this is when the Federal Reserve was created. Let's see, Federal Reserve created in 1913, right around this green line here. And things are pretty good for a while because we're still kind of on a gold standard, but then 1971, Nixon takes us off that gold standard completely. And from this point onward, guys, it's not that gold is becoming more valuable, it's that the dollar is becoming less valuable compared to gold. How much less valuable is the dollar than it was in 1971? Just 8,000%, 9,000% less valuable. Not really a big deal, just 9,000% less purchasing power than you had back in the day. All right, but the reason we talk about CPI and the reason we look at CPI is because it does cause volatility within the markets. Now, I want to talk about ETH before we get into the Bitcoin. Because as we know, ETH has broken out of a very key level. Such a key level for ETH, 2,650. All right. Why is this such an important level for ETH? Because this is the bottom of the fair value zone of the last 2 years of price action. A hold above 2,700 for ETH, in my opinion, pretty much guarantees a move up to $4,000. Why do I say this? Because when you establish a fair value zone like we did here for 2 years, you lose it to the downside, you come back in, have a strong close above, probabilities are highest that the market will now trade the price of the asset back within that old fair value zone, which we had right here. So right now, holding above 2,700 is bullish for ETH, even though everything's getting a pullback right now. This is exactly what we were looking at for Bitcoin back in the day, back in April, right? We were saying if Bitcoin comes back inside the value area, we're going to get a pump. All right, and that's exactly what happened. We ended up getting our pump back to new all-time highs, all right? And this is why we took that trade setup in the Casper crew from the mid-80s, expecting those highs. And I'm still holding that trade, as you can see here. All right. Now, as long as ETH is above this level, I'm actually feeling kind of bullish in general, even on Bitcoin here. Because let's just take a look at what Bitcoin's done. All right. Let's remove everything. Let's zoom in on the daily chart here on Bitcoin. What Bitcoin has done is the following. We made a very bullish pattern right down here, okay? Bullish divergences on market Cipher B. As the price is getting lower to very key support, mind you, we are seeing bullish divergences. Big momentum waves on the left, small momentum waves on the right, as the price is getting lower into key support. Now, from that time, we actually pump up and we make a higher high, all right? Once you see a bullish divergence, that is a bottom signal. Now that we made a higher high, I know it's not much of a higher high, but nonetheless, still a higher high. When you get that next momentum wave here on Market Cipher, that is a continuation pattern. All right, we've put in a macro bottom signal here. Weekly bullish divergence, 4-day, 3-day, 2-day, 1-day. We've made a higher high. Now we're seeing continuation pattern here, okay? And as we're seeing the continuation pattern, we're actually seeing the price of Bitcoin come and sweep the low of the local range, all right? We have our local range right here, okay? Our macro range is this. This is our macro range. Our high, right around this area. Remember, we're always looking for ranges within ranges. So we'll go ahead and change this. We'll make it orange to mark our macro range and green to mark our local range. This is our macro range here. And this is our local range. All right? We swept the low of the local range with continuation pattern on our daily time frame. And now we're starting to get a bit of a pullback, which means this. We don't want to lose this area right here, all right? The area between, and I'd say we can pull it from this last low that we made here. We don't want to lose that area around $106,000 because 106 is that very key zone. It's a Fibonacci golden pocket, it's a 786. It's also the support resistance flip that we have basically traded the entirety of this local range. So long as we hold this, we can actually look at this as, look at this. Locally here, we were in our little downtrend, our high, our low, our lower high, our lower low, our lower high, our lower low. We've made now a higher high. We've actually taken out the lower high in the downtrend. So this is our first tip that we're starting to see bullish reversal. So as we come down now, we expect our higher low to hold, and then we get a breakout. This is also known as an introverted head and shoulders pattern. An introverted head and shoulders. Why is it called an introverted head and shoulders? We have ourselves our shoulder, our head, and our shoulder, and then our breakout. The reason why it's called an introverted head and shoulders is because, you know, nobody pays attention to the introverted kid in high school who has no friends, who's kind of nerdy, neck beard, long hair, acne, okay? No one pays attention to him because he looks bearish, all right? He looks like he's not pumping. Looks like nothing's good. Very introverted, never gets invited to parties, can't even talk to girls, can't look at a girl in the eye. Too embarrassed, too shy. But here's the thing, he has a little bit of a job working at McDonald's, putting all his money into Bitcoin from the year 2010 until 2012, 2014. And eventually what happens is he gets the breakout to the upside, all right? Now by this time, he's in his late 20s, 30s. Now all those girls from high school all of a sudden want to pay attention to him and invite him to the parties, okay? But he doesn't have any time for them. Those girls who rejected him back in high school, gave him the hand, gave him the face, he doesn't have time for them anymore. But now everybody wants to hang out with him. He's an introverted head and shoulders pattern. But here's the thing. We are looking at this introvert saying, you know what, he has potential. Yeah, he's not in the best shape, but he has good genetics, good muscle inserts. If he just cleaned up his diet a little bit, started lifting weights 3 times a week, maybe doing some sprints here and there, this dude would be the most popular looking jock kid in the school. And so we want to make sure as we're coming down to this area that we are not losing 106,000. All right, very key. If we lose 106,000, then that is bad. Why is that bad? Because it opens us up down to this lower section of the range, right? Remember how we're talking about we have ranges within ranges? Remember how we're looking at this big range here with the orange lines? And then this mini range here with the green lines? Well, guess what? Within the mini range here with the green lines, we have even more ranges to trade, okay? We have this range right here. We have this sideways range, right? We have this sideways range. We have this sideways range. We have this sideways range. Now here's the thing about ranges, all right? When you establish a range, and then you come back inside of that range, you're gonna trade that range using the same levels as you did the first time. Just like this one here, right? That's why we're expecting this support to hold, because we traded this range, which was the same as this range. We expected those levels to hold. Now we're trading this range, which is the same as this range, which means we expect the levels to hold. If we come back down into here, we can expect to move back down to the lower range. And so this is why it's so important to trade level to level and understand that as long as we hold certain areas, we have reason to be bullish. But as soon as we lose, then we have reason to be bearish. It's not about getting bearish at the lows. It's not about getting bullish at the highs. It's about having a bias for your next trading plan, right? Let me be clear. Now let me be clear.
I've been dead since 2019, and every time you see me on TV, it's either been a deep fake or a body double. But the science is settled. This is all Trump's fault.
I'm not saying to short if we lose this level. What I am saying is if we lose the level, then maybe we have a short setup on our hands. All right? Where we're not shorting because we lose the level. We're shorting if we lose the level, we come back for a back test with some kind of bearish confirmation, and then we have ourselves a trade setup. Remember, what is the trade setup? A trade setup means you have three things. You have your entry and your reason to take the trade there based on your indicators. You have a stop loss based on technical analysis, and you have a target based on technical analysis that has a good risk to reward ratio. All right? If we see something like this happen, now we say, okay, we lost key support. Now we can look for more downside. My next plan would be a back test of what used to be key support, now resistance, and a target of the next major support resistance flip on the chart, giving me approximately a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio. You have all the things you need to take a successful trade. Now remember, just because it's a losing trade doesn't mean it's an unsuccessful trade. And just because it's a winning trade doesn't mean it's a successful trade. And if you think I'm crazy, you've got to change your mindset. Because the definition of a successful trade is a trade that you traded according to your plan with good risk management, abiding by everything I just laid out. If you make money by taking a random coin flip, that's not a successful trade. In fact, you're building behavioral patterns that are going to cause you to lose everything over the course of your trading career until you're totally out of the game. All right. So let's take a look now at ETH, Bitcoin taking the dump. We're going to go ahead and pull our fib again, and we're going to be aware of us as we're coming down here. All right. Is ETH dumping now? ETH is doing fine. Here's the thing. We're looking for Bitcoin to retest the support resistance flip at around 106. ETH right now, we have a support resistance flip around 2650. All right, we don't want to lose 2650 on ETH because that is the range, right? This is the range. It's the value area high of the local range. And not only that, but it's the value area low of the macro range. So clearly, we have our line in the sand for ETH. We're holding above this level. We expect higher. Doesn't matter if we're dumping right now. Hold above this level, we expect higher. We lose that level, then we can say we could come back down to the bottom of the range around 2500, right? But again, you need to wait for some kind of a setup to have that target, right? But as long as we hold this level, honestly, I'd say probabilities are high, we see more upside. Now, I have to be more bullish than bearish here based on these higher time frames. Based on our monthly, green data printing. Our 2-week, definitely still some room to the upside. 12 days, still room to the upside. The weekly time frame, money flow about to twist to the upside. Our 4-day time frame on ETH, to me, looks very nice. Money flow's curving up, green dot printing, 3-day, 2-day. 2-day looks pretty good to me. We just got a money flow cross on the 2-day. I definitely think these higher time frames got some more juice in them. All right, but we're not just looking at dots on Market Cipher. We're looking at dots on Market Cipher plus the actual market structure, because the market structure is king. All right, absolutely. If you want to learn more about this stuff, check out the free course on my YouTube channel. I have a free course on my YouTube channel. You go to my YouTube, you see 18 videos. They tell you how to do this, how to get the key levels, okay? How to understand, how to get into the trade, okay? How and when to enter the trade. Your instructor, right here. You can tell he know what he talk about. He have the good hair, the good long hair, okay? Like every good trader guru, he have long hair. Why? He don't care. He don't have a job because he trade, okay? He don't need job. He trade. He have long hair. He don't care. He tell his boss, I quit my job. I no come back to work. I no come back to work. I quit job. I trade. You go away. You go screw yourself, boss. I don't listen to you anymore. Okay, I go trade. So check out the free course on YouTube. On my YouTube channel. Okay? As the ETH is coming back down to key support. Alright? ETH is coming back down to key support. Make sure to smash up the likes. Shout out to C. Marpy. Imagine still holding ETH in 2025. Well, I am. I am. And you know what, MPRP? C. Marpy? I hope that your comment is going to be the catalyst that causes ETH to hit $8,500. You know? The fact that people are expecting that there's no alt season, that ETH is dead, we're gonna pump. For the same reason the people that said we'll never see Bitcoin in the 70s again back in January, they're the reason it dumped. Alright? So I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Alright, let's take a look at the order flow. Oh man. Alright guys, well, so the sad thing is, we have about 14 million longs opening up right here. And we're giving us a very, very bearish CBD divergence under VWAP today. Okay? So I do have to say that it looks like we're going to get another drop to the downside here. Okay? It looks like we're going to get another drop to the downside here. And I'm really hoping we don't lose our zone. Alright? But so far, this is not good order flow. The reason why this is bad order flow is because what we're seeing here, believe it or not, is retail traders trying to buy the dip, but the market makers trying to wreck them. Alright? I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. So, remember, we're holding under VWAP here, and we're seeing a lot of longs opening, okay? You can see that throughout the entirety of this area here, we are seeing open interest increase, and we're seeing CBD also increase. And what this means is that there are long trades opening. As we get lower and lower and lower, there are more long trades than short trades opening. This is bearish because if there's more long trades than short trades opening, you would expect price to be making higher highs and higher lows. Alright? So what's happening is the price is making lower highs and lower lows even though there's long trades opening up. What does that mean? Man, it means that there are actually there are bigger players in the market here filling up short orders. The whales, alright? The whales. Let's draw a picture of our whale. Here's his BLOFIN. Speaking of BLOFIN, sign up to BLOFIN for 20% cash back. There are whales who are building limit short orders here. As all these traders are hitting the long button, there are whales here holding the price down. They're literally holding it down. They're not allowing it to go up because every time someone hits long, he's filling a short. Right? This is bearish order flow right here under VWAP as we're unable to hold the VWAP. So, not good. Not good. What we would want to see for any kind of sign of strength here is see these longs actually start to be able to change the market structure. Right? But so far, when you see 14 million longs open, and they can't even push up the price a little bit, that's not a good sign, man. That is not a good sign. Alright? Man, it's got me a little bit concerned. So go check out my free course on my YouTube channel. Okay? I go tell my boss, I don't want to work to you anymore. I go trade now, grow my hair out long. We have 18 videos teach you how to trade. We even have a video on how to understand the order flow. Alright? And we're coming down to our box that must hold. And I hope it holds, guys, but if it doesn't hold, at least we're short from the setup given in the Casper Crew VIP Discord in advance from the exact high. Alright, but I hope it holds because obviously, when Bitcoin pumps, we all make more money, right? Even if you're short. You don't want Bitcoin to dump, all right? Unless you're just 100% a trader and you don't hold any Bitcoin, all right? Shout out to Bullish on Parade. He's going to continue to sit when I pee until we wick down to $102,000. That's funny, bro. That is funny. What do they have? A bunch of orders? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how it works. You know, I'm not a whale, but yeah. They either have a bunch of orders or they do it. I think big players, they don't do it the way we do it. They do it some other way. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to talk to a whale. All right, but yeah, they might have limit orders. Somehow they're doing it in a way where they're not using market orders. Because the market orders would show up in the order book. How would this reverse, Sergeant Squid? Well, we definitely want to see our box hold right here, and if not, then we're looking to come down to 103. That's going to be our next support if this box doesn't hold. So that's going to be the bottom of this lower range here. But a way this could reverse is we wreck these longs. These people trying to long, we wreck them into our box, and then we start to see bullish order flow where we're seeing people short because they think we're coming down. They're shorting the bottom, and then we start to squeeze those shorts. All right, let's actually take a look back at the order flow here. So, you know, we do have quite a few shorts that I've opened up here as well. Let's go to a 15-minute time frame. Yeah, so we do have quite a few shorts, actually. But man, let's take a look, actually. Let's zoom out here. Man. Oof. There were a lot of longs long in this dip all day yesterday. And a lot of them are still open. So we have a lot of longs to wreck here, honestly. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of longs to wreck. But definitely be looking at for support. The next major support zone when New York opens in about an hour. The golden pocket, the high volume node, the 786. All right, between 105 and 106.5. It's going to be super key. We want to see some bull divs coming in here. Right now, 24-minute looks like Garbaggio. What I would really want to see is I would want to start to see it start to do this. You know, the money flow start to curve up as we come into the box. Otherwise, yeah, we could see a lot of those longs get wrecked. It's pretty crazy, actually, that a lot of longs opened up in here and in here. And now longs are opening up this whole way down. All right, that actually is a recipe for Dump City. I'm not going to lie. That is a recipe for Dump City. But look, when we zoom out, again, we're still trading the range between the two green lines. So nothing gets super crazy bearish as long as we're in this range. All right, nothing gets super crazy bearish as long as we're in this range. And I do have to maintain that the higher time frames look bullish. So this lower time frame pullback, I think our higher time frames are still pointing to more upside. What's the name of the indicator at the bottom? Market Cipher B. MarketCipherTrading.com. All right, I am affiliated, and they pay me if you click my link. I think they give me 15%, maybe 10%, I don't know. But it is the best trading indicator in the world. Where's James Wynn's liquidation? Is he still doing that? Where does he get the money from? Do I think the CME gap gets filled? Well, let's talk about it, all right? We do have a CME gap. From the weekend, which will be filled at 104,770. Well, do I think it will be filled? I think that if we lose 106, our very key level, yes. Why do I say that? Because this is the beginning of the gap here, right? This is the beginning of the gap. This is the close of the gap. So gaps, once you go into the gap, likely to fill the gap, all right? likely to fill the gap. Now, one last thing I do want to say. The daily time frame is giving us a continuation pattern here. But if we get more of a drop, I'm still not going to become hopelessly bearish, because there's still a chance that we see something like this, where we get that double bottom on market Cipher B, similarly to what we saw back here. All right. We had our bullish divergence, we had our trigger wave, then we got our double bottom wave. Still not taking out that low, but it's a pattern we see often on market Cipher, where things look great, all right, but then we get the fake out and people get bearish, and they fail to look at the fact that we're printing that double bottom wave, which oftentimes is the real one, okay? So as long as we're not losing this low, we're holding it. Still pretty nice. All right. Yeah, money flow looks nice on the daily. Absolutely. How in the world does this guy keep getting money, James WEN? Am I in an incline treadmill? It's a very slight incline. All right. It's a very slight incline. Shout out to Yaz Tech. Shout out to Jordan Goes. We have PPI in 7 minutes. All right, guys, so we do have some news coming out that could be the catalyst for a move here. All right. PPI, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Wow. The producer price index. They're expecting it to be bad, man. But yesterday they were expecting CPI to be bad. This is very interesting. Look at what they're expecting. Well, they're expecting it to be good. I mean, this is good for the dollar. When I say bad, you know, we're trading risk assets. So news that's bullish for the dollar is bearish for crypto. In general. I mean, it's not as much as it was back in the bear market. But look at this big change they're expecting here. Like 0.7% change here. That's pretty crazy. We got 3 minutes until the news. Let's see if we get some volatility on these low time frames here, guys. Again, I got to give a major shout out to BLOFIN, guys. If you want to trade BLOFIN, link in the description, pin comment. They give you 20% cash back. Discounted fees if you use my link, and multiple chances to win $100 every single month, plus these juicy prizes. Also, guys, ANTARCTIC exchange, the lowest fees in the game. You can't go wrong. If you sign up using my link, you get 0% limit order, 0.015% market order. Plus, guys, ANTARCTIC exchange is a decentralized exchange made by traders for traders. There's no market maker. We trade against each other, and if you trade in the exchange, you own the exchange. Right? Someone gets liquidated, you benefit, you get paid. We share the fees, we share the liquidations, we share everything. All right? We share everything on here. You know? It's like communism. Just kidding. Could be a quick wick. It's just a thirsty Thursday. Yeah, the big move coming out with the PPI could just be a quick wick on Thirsty Thursday. Trade the charts, not the news, says Scottish Crypto. Yeah, but the news does give us short-term volatility. You guys remember what happened yesterday on the news? We got some short-term volatility, which ended up giving us a larger move. All right, so the news can act as a catalyst, but we have to interpret the charts based always on the technicals. But the fundamentals can cause it to move. It causes volatility. And volatility is what allows us to trade the charts. No volatility, no chart to trade. All right, you can't trade a straight line. You know what that means? A flat line, you know what that means? It means you're dead. All right, the market's not moving, it's dead. So the news does cause some short-term volatility. 2 minutes. We've got 2 minutes. Make sure to smash up the likes. One minute and 22 seconds, baby. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm excited for this volatility here. Let's go down to a low time frame. I got butterflies in my stomach. Shout out to Nuclear. Is Antarctic going to reduce funding fees? Yes. Do you always need to reconnect your wallet? Yes. I mean, you're not putting your money on a platform. It's on your wallet, right? Yeah, Antarctic is going to be the best. It's a very new platform right now, but it's going to be the best. All right. 26 seconds. Until the news. Let's see. Everyone's biting their nails. Everyone's on their toes. All right, here we go. Okay, it's actually better for crypto than we thought. All right. New lettering in red, orange, and yellow. Shout out to Carl for the super chat. All right, so that's look at this. We got ourselves a nice little wiki candle right there. Shout out to Carl for the super chat. New lettering in red, orange, and yellow. Thanks for the super chat. What's happening? PPI, HFG. Shout out to HFG, by the way. We're pumping on the 1 minute. Man, what a lame news. That was lame. All right, but let's see. Let's check out the stock market right now. It's doing nothing, guys. It's literally doing nothing. But Bitcoin's getting a little bit of a pump here. But look at the S&P 500. Just a nice little doji candle here. And the dollar getting a little bit of a dump. That is bearish news for the dollar. That is bearish news for the dollar. But Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a move up. This is actually what we want to see. I'll tell you why. The fact that Bitcoin's getting a little bit of a move up here means that we have time now to form some nice divergences if we do come down into the box, right? We have time for money flow to curve up. We have time for momentum to start to come up. We have time for the uneven bata chica pattern to print. Chart. You know, here we go, baby. Look at these candles. Look at these candles right now. Guys, smash the likes. We got ourselves 1,300 viewers, 300 likes. Don't you know I give money away for the likes? The red dot's about to print out the daily. Yeah. I know. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. Yeah, shout out to HFG 106.2. That's gonna be a key level. A key level right there. The pump song? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not really feeling a pump song today. I'll tell you. I don't really like news-based pump songs here. Alright, I'm not a big fan of the news-based pump song. The NBPSs, those NBPSs. Let's see what happens with this 5-minute candle here. This is the 1-minute candle. Let's see if we can close a 5-minute candle bullishly. All right. Can we get any kind of change of structure here? Can we close it above 107.143? That's what we want to see. We got 1 minute left. We want to close this blue candle above the yellow line, guys. Let's check out ETH. Clay the Great. I don't think it's a daily bearish divergence we're going to print. We're going to print a trigger wave, maybe. Shout out to Crypto Batman. Love the 80s music from the Scarface soundtrack. I like the 80s music as well. I used to hate the 80s when I was in high school, but now I do like the 80s. It seems like... this is going to make me sound so old, man. I wasn't even born in the 80s, alright? I'm a 90s guy, but... there was something pure about the 80s where the technology was so primitive that you could still have a normal life and normal relationships, normal communities. You still had that in the 90s as well. You still had that in the 90s as well. But fast forward till now, you know? I mean, what would I be doing right now in the 80s? Definitely not trading Bitcoin on a treadmill, talking to 1,000 people on the internet who I don't know. You know? Alright guys, so we didn't close the 5-minute candle above the level. This is our first sign of weakness. Our first sign of weakness here. Let's check the order flow. What did we get on that move? Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Into chat. Nothing really. We didn't really get any actual buying or selling on this. Again, we do need to see some kind of change in market structure. Otherwise, we have 13 million longs, literally. Long right here. They're in profit right now. So we need to start changing market structure. Otherwise, these guys are going to get squeezed. And also, there's a lot of longs that are still open this whole way down here. In fact, we have longs that are open from the exact top. You can see net longs increasing over time. We've got longs open still from literally the exact top. So we need to see some kind of change of structure here. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on. Looks like we're gonna do it. Looks like we're gonna do it. All right. Let's switch to our 10-minute candle here. Can we get a 10-minute candle close? 15-minute candle close? We got 8 minutes left on our 15-minute. Here we go, actually. Not so bad. Not so bad. A close above this yellow line is going to be good. A close above this yellow line now is going to be, I'd say, a really nice change of market structure. Showing more upside as possible here. But honestly, here's what I would like to happen. I would like to see us get a little bit of a move up before New York opens. And then get one last drop and then get the real move. Alright? Get people bullish early, drop into support, and then get the move. Why do I want to see that? Because that would allow our oscillator to print very bullish divergences. Alright? Because right now we don't really have those bullish divergences. But it would be our first nice sign of strength to see that move. It would allow us to print some really nice divergences. Divergences. You like dubstep? I like dubstep as well. Digital Raw says, you know we're going to drop down. Well, look. An ideal scenario is a little bit of a pump before New York open. New York dumps us down, get everybody bearish into support, bullish divergences, and then we pump. Alright. Crypto Lifer just posted that he's bullish. Shout out to Crypto Lifer. Shout out to Sam Price. Shout out to Crypto Princess in the chat. What is going on, Crypto Princess? Guys, if you're not subscribed to Crypto Princess, what are you doing? You know? Gotta go subscribe. Alright? Do I use CBD on higher time frames? I do, but not to make trades, just to get a general vibe. Am I going to do a giveaway today? Look, we have 1,400 viewers, 400 likes. If we can get 1,000 likes in 5 minutes, I'll do a giveaway. All right, let's set a timer here. Now, don't bot the stream, because if you do, we're not going to do a giveaway. So if we have 2,000 likes in 5 minutes, we're not doing a giveaway. But if everybody actually likes the video in the next 5 minutes, all right, we will do a giveaway. All right. My next tread plan is just keep on walking, baby. Let the sweat pour into the shirt. Look at the sweat on this shirt, guys. You guys see this? That's called humid outside, no AC, all right? That's called humid outside, no AC. That's what that's called. I'll tell you though, it's been an early morning. I was outside in the gardens today. Alright? I was outside in the gardens today. The beans are coming in good, guys. The beans are coming in good. Alright? I'm telling you, the beans are coming in nice. The corn is coming in nice. The red beets are coming in nice. Alright? I was out there this morning getting some eggs. Working in the garden, getting up a sweat. Now, I'm sweating even more, man. I'm sweating even more. The squash is coming in nice, baby. The squash is coming in nice. The potatoes coming in nice, baby. They're coming in nice, I'm telling you. You know, it's that time of year where the potato flowers start to bloom. I love that time of year. When the potato flowers bloom, they are beautiful. Don't ever eat potato berries, by the way. You'll die. All right, but look. This right here, this is called survival homesteading, all right? Proteins, carbs, and fats. Potatoes and eggs, man. If I could only have 2 things to survive off of, potatoes and eggs. Potatoes and eggs. Potatoes and chickens. The easiest, least amount of work, best risk to reward crop and animal you could have. All right, you literally could survive. Potatoes are so nutrient dense. Potassium, electrolytes, minerals. Eggs, one of the most nutrient dense foods you could eat. All right, I just take a straw, smash it through the eggshell, and suck up that yolk. All that biotin going right into my veins, baby. All right, look, we're starting to get the candle close here. Starting to get a little bit of a candle close here. Potatoes gonna potate and money gonna rotate. Plant tomatoes? Yeah, I do plant tomatoes, but look, are tomatoes survival food? You can't go to the grocery store tomorrow, okay? And you're gonna live off your tomatoes? Come on, man. Come on. No. If I only had 2 things to grow, it would be eggs and potatoes. Alright? And then the beans. The beans. Hang on, where's my picture of the beans? I just had a picture of beans here, but I lost it now. The beans, man. The beans, the potatoes, the squash, and the chickens. That's what you want to grow. Squash, winter squash, all right? Potatoes, chickens. That's survival food. Potatoes, beans, squash, and chickens. All right, that's good eating, man. That is good macro ratio. All right, beans got proteins, carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins. Potatoes, carbohydrates, minerals. The Irish lived off potatoes only for like what, 7,000 million years. Eggs, one of the most nutrient-dense foods you could possibly grow. And then squash. You can eat the seeds. They have protein and fat in the seed, and the squash has lots of vitamins, nutrients, carbohydrates. You know? Bees, yeah. It's hard for me to raise the bees, but I'll tell you this, okay? I will tell you this. I do have maple trees, and I do produce maple syrup, but the bees, it's just too much of a job for me right now, you know? Everyone I know who tries to raise bees, they lose the bees over the winter. Shout out to Daniel. He only eats fermented bread. Alright, we have 1,400 viewers. We wanted to get 1,000 likes in 5 minutes. We didn't do it. Let's set another timer. Now, if we can get 1,000 likes in this next 5 minutes, we'll give away $500 instead of 1,000. So smash the likes, guys. Do I stream every day? A lot of days. Never on Saturdays. Can I explain the Cipher B indicator? I mean, Market Cipher B is like... I mean, if you really want to get an in-depth, I have lots of free content on it on my YouTube channel. But check out this video right here. How and when to enter a trade, nail perfect entries in the free course. This right here, this video right here, I go into how I use Market Cipher. But the course, you don't need Market Cipher in order to use the course, but the principles I use on Market Cipher apply to any indicator, but I think Market Cipher gives you by far the best actual signal. Guys, check out the free course on YouTube under playlists. And also, under playlists, I got a lot of... Let's see here. Go to the Trading Strategies playlist, alright? Go to the Trading Strategies playlist. Because I have a lot of just trading strategy content here that goes over, like, how I trade, okay? Just check it out. There's so much free content on my website, my YouTube, I mean, that really will help you out. So I'd say start with the course, the video called How and When to Enter a Trade, but then check out the playlist because I have a lot of different Market Cipher stuff on there. Alright? Oh, no. So we did get a candle close above. So that's our good first sign. Now, if we can hold a higher low here, ideally, this is what I would love to see. I would love to see us take this local liquidity, okay, support resistance flip as New York opens, then dump it down to our support where we see the bullish divergences, and then get our bounce from there. And that's what I would love to see. What treadmill do I have? It always changes, baddie. Whatever's cheapest on Amazon. I gotta move to the south. I know. I hate living up north, but it's where my family is. Okay? It's where my family is. So I can't leave right now. I've got parents. I've got a 98-year-old grandfather. My wife has her parents all within a 2-hour radius of us. So, but, you know, also I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this homestead, I'm telling you. But, we'll see. We'll see what the Lord does, alright? Where's Bulletproof Vest? He's over there, I show you. You know, Jason Casper had 4 very intense weight training sessions this week. And he is not in the mood to walk with a 40-pound weighted vest right now. You know, I've got to recover. I'm going to take 3 days off the gym and really focus on recovery. My bulk is over, okay? My bulk is over. I need to deload. I need to relax. I need to chill. All right, my experiment of eating 5,500 calories a day, training 4 days a week, to see how strong I could get while staying lean. The experiment's over because This week, I was unable to progress on my lifts, so it's over. I'm gonna take some time off the gym, let my body recover. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna do some high volume training. Lower the volume and intensity for a little bit here, you know? How do you join the VIP? Just go to jasoncaspertrading.com. jasoncaspertrading.com, and in 10 minutes, one of our instructors is going to be doing the New York Open live stream where we give the setups in advance. Like this, the 2 trades I'm currently in right now. Up $33,000 in realized profits from the setups given in advance in the Casper crew. Literally gave the short from the exact top. Alright. So let's see here what's going to happen. Will Fartcoin pump on the Coinbase listing? Typically these things are like buy the rumor, sell the news, right? It is safer up north in terms of weather. It is safer up north in terms of weather, to be honest. Where I am, I don't get hurricanes, I don't get earthquakes, I don't get volcanoes, I don't get tornadoes. Right now, we've got some haze because of the Canadian fires. But other than that, do I prefer the Mike Menser or the Arnold style? I'm a firm believer, guys, that extremes are always right and wrong. Always. Always. So, the thing is, alright, if you're going to train like Arnold did, high volume, that will work to get bigger and stronger for a time. And then your body will adapt to that kind of training, and you're going to stop making strength and muscle gains on it. You're going to need to change. It's called periodization. All right, the Soviets perfected this back during the Soviet Union times. Periodization. It's where, in bro science terms, you got to shock your body, bro. You got to switch it up, man. Keep those muscles confused, baby. All right? You could train like Arnold and think this is the holy grail of training. And then 3 months down the road, you're going to stall. And your only option is to add more volume. And then you're going to start to burn out. You're going to start to get tendinitis. Your sleep is going to suck. You're going to be tired all the time, worn out. All right, but what you need to do is before you hit that burnout phase, as soon as you start to notice, you know what, this high volume, it's not doing as good as it was, you switch it up. Then do the Mike Menser style. All right, go in there 1 or 2 sets per exercise to failure as hard as you can. And I tell you, once you switch that up, you're gonna be like, man, this is the holy grail of training now. You know, you get these pumps that don't go away. All week you're feeling pumped up. Your appetite is back. Your sleep is good. You're strong. You're making gains again. Strength gains. All right? Until it doesn't work. And then you're going to be burnt out again. And you can't progress anymore. There's only so much high intensity, 1 set to failure you can do before you stop progressing. Your body adapts to that. And if you keep pushing it, unless you're on drugs, you're going to start to feel like crap. And so you got to switch it up again. All right? It's called periodization of your training, right? There's different ways to do it. For the longest time, I did daily undulating periodization. You know? Then there's your standard, you know, blocks of training with your mesocycles, where you got a few weeks of the high intensity, low rep, and then you got the middle rep, then you got the lightweight stuff. And you have to make sure that you let your body recuperate. So right now, I just went hard since like the beginning of April. I've been doing more of the Mike Menser style, okay? But this past week, I was unable to progress on my lifts. And so I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna take a deload. I'm gonna switch it up. That's what you gotta do. What about partial reps? Everything works. Everything works. I'm telling you, everything works, Jason Root. When it comes to training and lifting weights, everything works. All right? You got to find what works best for yourself, but everything will work. Because if you're giving your body a stimulus that it's not used to, it will adapt. in order to perform that same task better next time. Go outside and rake leaves all day. The next day, your hands are going to be covered in blood and blisters, all right? But then you get calluses, your body adapts, so you can do it again. Now, you keep raking every single day, and guess what? It's not going to cause your body to adapt anymore. Once you get your calluses, that's it. You got to change the stimulus. Now maybe you shovel all day. All right, now shoveling instead of raking. Now, you're going to get blisters again, okay? Your body's going to have to adapt again. So, everything will work. All right? You're a couch potato. Even if you're not a couch potato, you've been lifting weights for 4 years. Take a month off the weights and focus on like push-ups and pull-ups for a while. Like high rep push-ups, pull-ups, different variations, body weight, and man, you're gonna be sore the next day. You do like 300 push-ups after you haven't done push-ups in a long time. Next day, man, your chest is sore, right? Because it's a new stimulus. If you pee on your hands first, you won't get blisters. Dorian Yates also ripped his bicep off. That's true. Look, the high-intensity people, let's be honest, all the high-intensity famous people were on steroids, all right? And I don't think any of them built their physique that way. All right, I don't think anyone went into the gym from day one. Mike Mentor did not get so jacked by going to the gym and doing one set to failure and taking 4 days off, all right? He might have maintained and continued to improve it after he already built the foundation. But if you're on performance-enhancing drugs, that is a complete game changer because it improves your body's ability to recover and handle stress. So if you're a natural guy, your body won't be able to handle the stress load. And you have to change your training if you're natural. I'm not saying, like, I understand people on performance-enhancing drugs. I'm not saying they don't have to work as hard. What I'm saying is they have the ability to work harder and still benefit from it because they can recover. But if you're natural, there's only so much you can do. And then you're going to pay. You're going to pay. Looks like a fake out. Yeah, let's check out Market Cipher here. Okay, so honestly, I feel like Market Cipher's looking kind of good. Yeah, diet and sleep is crucial. As long as, like, New York opens in half an hour. So if we consolidate here, once we come down to this box, if we're starting to see some nice bull div, I would expect to bounce. All right. Felipe opens the eyelids 10 times every morning and has increased to 20 twice a week. That's good. Shout out to FitGenius618. May God bless you. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. May Jesus bless you all. Shout out to Steven. Did powerlifting in the 20s. Hasn't lifted, but still muscular. What's my opinion about TRT? I mean, look, if you can avoid it, don't avoid it. All right, avoid it. I say 90% or more of dudes, if you think you have low T, fix your diet, fix your sleep, fix your training, and it'll go back to normal, all right? My testosterone was very, very low in my 20s. It was like 320 total testosterone. And the reason for that is because I was nocturnal. I smoked marijuana, I drank alcohol, and I ate fast food multiple times a day. All right? And now, I'm going to be 35 in 2 months. My testosterone is in the mid 700s always. I'm more jacked, I'm leaner, I feel better 12 years into the future than I did in my 20s because I eat healthy, I sleep 7 to 9 hours a night, I'm active, I take care of my body. All right? And don't go to the drug if there's still something you can do without the drug. Drugs should always be a last resort. Always. Like, medicine should always be a last resort. There's a give and take for every drug you take. If you start taking testosterone, now you'll never be able to produce your own natural T again. And now you're reliant on the supply chain and laboratories and the medical industrial complex in order to just feel like a man. Why would you want to put yourself in a position where you need to rely on other people, a working supply chain, and honest laboratories in order just to feel normal? I don't want that. That should be a last resort. That should be a last resort. You know? But if you've done all the right things, if you're exercising properly, sleeping properly, eating properly, and still your testosterone is low and it's affecting your life, then go for it. Go for it. You know? But people are hopping on that stuff without giving it any thought. They go to the doctor, how's your T? A little low. All right, let's hop on TRT. It's like, man, you just screwed yourself for the rest of your life if you didn't even try to change your life. And here's something else. If you're putting a Band-Aid on your symptoms, but you're not fixing the root cause, you're still putting your body under stress. And now you got to deal with other issues that come along with injecting testosterone, like your cholesterol going up, the stress on your heart, the stress on your liver, right? You got to deal with these things now when you could have just done it the natural way, you know? And the natural way takes more work. That's the thing. The appeal of taking drugs is it's quick, it's easy, it's a fix. Take the magic pill. But it's not really going to fix the issues that are causing your problem in the first place. If you're not sleeping right, if you're not eating right, I don't care if you're injecting testosterone, you're not going to be healthy. You might feel good short term, right? Everything's a give and take. Shout out to Vigorous Steve. He says, agreed with all points, and I make a living giving TRT advice to men. Cool, well, I'm glad to hear it from a professional. I'm scared to take TRT, honestly, because, you know, if the supply chain goes down, what am I going to do then? I'm out here on the farm, guys. I'm out here trying to survive. I'm trying to grow my own food here and be self-sufficient. I'm not trying to. The supply chain goes down. I'm not trying to get emasculated over here, have an emotional breakdown because I'm depressed. Because when the fecal matter comes into contact with the revolving apparatus, you know? But man, look at that though. That's crazy that we rejected right from that line. All right, guys, I am going to head out. I got to go. God bless everybody in Jesus' name. May the Lord bless you all. May he bless us all, and may we all draw closer to him. And over in the Casper Crew VIP Discord right now, we're doing a VIP low time frame analysis stream, so go check it out. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.